Welcome to another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
I know you've been waiting for us to unpack the lore from this specific universe.
Oh, absolutely.
And today we have a stack of sources that are going to absolutely blow your mind.
We really do. It's a heavy stack today.
We are stepping into a world that is equal parts terrifying, fascinating, and deeply emotional.
Very emotional.
Today we're looking at historical accounts, campaign lore documents, and live session transcripts from a world known as Apocalyptica Arcanum.
Specifically zooming in on the bleak, unforgiving winter of 1886.
Right. But I want you to completely erase the 1886 of our history books from your mind.
Yeah, forget everything you know about the Victorian era.
Exactly. This is a world situated just weeks after a cataclysmic meteor strike literally shattered reality as humanity knew it.
It is a phenomenal setting to explore.
It really is.
Primarily because it takes the late 19th century, the era of the Industrial Revolution, the telegraph, the steam engine, and completely upends it with cosmic horror.
Just throws it all out the window.
Right. The documents we have curate a very specific, harrowing journey through the Dakota Territory and the Lake Erie region.
Freezing cold.
Freezing. We are looking at a time when the fundamental laws of physics, geography, and even metaphysics have completely collapsed.
It's gone.
And in their place, something volatile and raw has taken root.
Which brings us to our mission today.
Yes.
Our mission today is to explore how human despair, extreme isolation, and this new chaotic magic birthed a terrifying physical reality out of an old myth.
We are talking about the genesis of a curse.
The Wendigo.
The Wendigo.
We absolutely are going to talk about the Wendigo, the magic, the monsters, and the horror of this set.
There's a lot of horror.
But I need to establish right out of the gate to you listening right now that I have an absolute undeniable obsession with one specific figure in these accounts.
I knew this was coming.
I can't help it. And it's not the magic users.
No.
It's not the demons. It's not the ascendant entities or the warlords.
It's the dog.
It is a blue healer dog named Reginald. Reggie. This deep dive, at its core, is my personal tribute to Reggie.
It's well-deserved.
As we go through these horrors, you are going to see exactly why a normal, everyday dog becomes the emotional anchor of an apocalypse.
It's a wild ride.
Okay, let's unpack this.
To truly appreciate the scale of what Reginald and his human companions face, we have to set the stage.
Right.
The macro context here is crucial for understanding everything that follows.
The meteor.
Exactly. According to the lore documents, on January 18th, 1886, a meteor struck the Earth.
But this wasn't just a rock from space throwing up a dust cloud.
No, it brought with it an extraterrestrial corrupting element known in the lore as shardicite.
Shardicite.
Right. The impact obliterated vast regions of the planet and triggered a cascading collapse of geographic and magical systems.
Nations fell overnight.
Natural law fractured.
Magic erupted violently into daily existence.
The Earth was literally torn from its axis.
The scale of that is almost impossible to wrap your head around.
It's massive.
It's not just a bad day or a localized natural disaster. It's the end of everything.
Everything they knew.
You have Victorian-era people who were just getting used to the idea of widespread electricity suddenly plunged into a reality where gravity might fail.
Where the sky turns green.
Or the dead start walking. It's a total paradigm shift forced upon humanity in a matter of seconds.
And the most dangerous aspect of shardicite isn't the physical destruction it caused.
No.
It's how it interacts with the human psyche.
This is the wildest part.
The sources detail a concept called manifestation.
Manifestation.
In this post-meteor world, human belief, trauma, obsession, and desperation literally manifest into physical reality.
So if enough people believe in a myth,
Or if a community shares a profound, inescapable trauma.
the raw shardicite magic gives it flesh.
Exactly. So the monsters roaming the ash-choked snow of 1886 aren't aliens that came on the rock.
They're us.
They are our fears, our legends, and our sicknesses made horribly physically real.
That is such a chilling concept. Think about your own life for a second.
Right.
Have you ever been in an environment so negative or stressed that it felt like it was feeding on itself?
A toxic workplace.
Yeah, a toxic workplace, a bitter argument that just hangs in the air.
Sure.
That's what shardicite does, but literally. It takes the very real concept of a toxic environment and gives it teeth.
It gives it claws.
It turns your own mind against you in a way that can physically hunt you down.
Which brings us right into the heart of the storm.
It's February 1886, less than 4 weeks after the meteor fell. reality is fractured.
And we find 3 completely unlikely companions traveling through a blizzard.
A blizzard of wet snow mixed with green, concrete-like ash somewhere near Lake Erie.
A terrible place to be.
Let me enthusiastically introduce this trio because their backstories are incredibly wild.
And they perfectly illustrate how this new world operates.
First, we have John Wilson.
The charlatan.
He is what the source material refers to as the charlatan. John was a fraudulent medium operating out of New York.
A scam artist.
Picture the 1880s spiritualism, crazed parlors, dim lighting, tapping on tables.
Floating trumpets, all of that.
He was an unshaven, jittery guy in a cloak, making his living running fake seances for grieving families.
Preying on people.
The night the meteor struck, he was right in the middle of scamming a couple who were trying to contact their lost son, George.
And then reality breaks.
Suddenly, a low rumble shakes his parlor. The room floods with this blinding green-tinged light.
The Shardicite.
And the universe plays the ultimate cosmic joke on this fake medium.
It really does.
Hundreds of actual, real, green-tinged spectral wisps pop into existence.
Real ghosts.
And they are magnetically drawn to him.
The irony is brilliant.
It's so good.
But it also establishes a core rule of the lore.
Right.
The man who faked speaking to the dead becomes a literal magnet for them the moment the veil between worlds shatters.
He gets what he asked for.
The accounts describe him fleeing outside, seeing a massive green trail across the sky, and an earthquake swaying the brick buildings of New York.
Utter chaos.
A ghostly young girl even grabs his physical hand.
Oh, that part is so creepy.
She asks if she can go where George went.
And he is terrified.
Running back inside, desperately salting his doors, as an entourage of ghosts permanently attaches to him.
He can't get rid of them.
No, they whisper to him constantly. The psychic weight of that alone would drive most people mad.
It's poetic justice mixed with deep cosmic horror. He built his life on a lie about the afterlife. And now the afterlife won't leave him alone.
Then we have our second companion.
Josiah Robinson.
The cadet.
Josiah is a tall, slender military cadet. He was stationed out in the Arizona territories.
A long way from New York.
And he was in a damp, miserable cellar, studying a decrepit occult book written in actual blood.
As one does.
Emergency bugle sound. He runs outside, and he witnesses the meteor streak across the sky.
And the visual the transcripts provide here is horrific.
Like a bloodbath.
Green-tinged shadows are detaching from the walls, swallowing soldiers whole.
Or causing them to horribly mutate.
Bones jutting from skin, jaws cracking.
The military base is instantly consumed by anomalous magical violence.
The documents from his perspective detail a deeply unsettling transformation.
Because the book activates.
Exactly. It highlights a different type of magic. As these shadow tendrils crawl toward Josiah, the book he is holding floods with that signature green Shardicite light.
A voice fills his mind.
An otherworldly entity claiming, "I is the edge that guts the shadow. Tonight, I am your salvation."
And he doesn't even hesitate.
No.
In the face of certain death, he makes a pact right there.
He survives the immediate slaughter, but at a massive physical and spiritual cost.
Later flashbacks in the sources reveal he fought a mercurial, shadowy beast in a burned-out chapel outside Philadelphia.
He defeats it by summoning a blade of pure energy.
But the act mutates him.
Right. His arms and legs lengthen unnaturally.
His face elongates into this nightmare shape.
He becomes a terrifying figure, inextricably bound to this mysterious patron from the blood-written book.
If we connect this to the bigger picture...
Oh, definitely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these backstories are masterclasses in how Shardicite interacts with the immediate environment.
And the individual's psychological state.
Exactly. At the moment of impact, John's environment was rooted in death, grief, and lies.
So the raw magic manifested a literal haunting.
Josiah's environment was one of impending violence, desperation, and an occult artifact.
So the magic manifested a physical mutation and a warlock's pact.
The magic is highly contextual. It adapts to the trauma of the moment.
It doesn't just hand out superpowers.
No, it forces an evolution based on the immediate terror of the individual.
Which brings me to our third survivor.
The survivor.
And the absolute star of the show by association, Katya Blackheart.
Katya is a 6-foot-tall, athletic woman clad in black leathers.
The night the stars fell, she was at her home in Atlanta.
And her story grounds this magical apocalypse in very real, very human ugliness.
A brick smashes through her window.
Robed riders in white are outside, proclaiming a day of reckoning as they set her house on fire.
The historical accounts ground Katya's magical awakening in a horrific, real-world tragedy,
Her home is targeted by these riders in a racially motivated attack.
forcing her to fight for her life in the snow.
The juxtaposition of human cruelty against the backdrop of an impending cosmic catastrophe is striking.
It really is.
Before the meteor even fully alters reality, Katya is already fighting for her survival against the darkest aspects of humanity.
She is forced to defend herself and her parents with nothing but a kitchen knife against armed, mounted attackers.
And her dog.
And her dog. This is where we officially meet Reginald.
Reggie.
Reggie is a blue healer, and he immediately, without a second of hesitation, jumps into the fray to protect Katya.
They fight fiercely, but the odds are completely against them.
Katya is eventually kicked in the face by a horse and goes down,
She's lying unconscious, her blood pooling in the snow.
mixing with the blood of her parents, who are also attacked.
As she lies there dying, she sees a green, slimy thing
A raw vein of Shardicite corruption.
weaving through the red blood on the ground.
A surge of power blinds her,
The magic binds with her own lifeblood.
giving her a potent form of radiant blood magic that allows her to survive the night.
So this trio, the fraudulent medium haunted by real ghosts, the mutated cadet bound to a blood book, and the survivor wielding radiant blood magic,
Find themselves thrown together weeks later in the frozen, ash-covered wilderness.
they represent the chaotic, immediate adaptation of humanity
The natural laws of physics and biology have been replaced.
by a volatile magic system that runs entirely on belief, blood, and trauma.
And marching right alongside these three hardened, traumatized survivors is Reginald.
A perfectly normal dog.
A perfectly normal, fiercely loyal blue healer dog with a little brass tag that jingles when you scratch behind his ears.
I love that detail.
I just love that image. You have these mutated, haunted, magical beings in Reggie.
Just happy to be included.
Sniffing the ash, looking for table scraps, probably wondering why the squirrels look so weird now.
But the reality they are walking into is so incredibly bleak.
The sources note they've been starving for days.
The cold is oppressive, biting right through their clothes.
And this brings us to their first truly grisly discovery on the trail.
The narrative shifts from their diverse origins to the present day of the journey.
Right.
The group is trudging through the snow, struggling against the harsh elements, and they come across a tipped-over covered wagon.
Scene.
The scene they find is our first major clue about the nature of the specific threat they are facing in this region.
And it sets a tone of deep psychological horror.
It really does.
It is a chilling scene. Imagine yourself walking up to this. The wind is howling, the canvas of the wagon is flapping violently.
The snow around the wreckage is splattered with frozen red blood.
But it's the bones that make them stop cold.
They find human and horse bone.
But they aren't just stripped of meat by a passing predator.
The sources describe them as being picked mirror clean.
There isn't a single microscopic scrap of sinew left on them.
And the marks on the bones aren't from the jagged fangs of a wolf or a bear.
They are marked by flat, humanoid teeth.
That detail is deeply unsettling.
Because it implies a hunger that goes far beyond mere survival or animalistic scavenging.
It implies an obsessive manic compulsion.
A normal predator eats until it is full.
Whoever or whatever did this spent hours meticulously scraping the bone, driven by a psychological need to consume every possible atom of sustenance.
It gets worse. They rummage through the wreckage and find cans of food in the wagon.
The cans have been torn open.
The metal, jagged and sharp, and every single drop of sauce, every tiny morsel of food inside has been licked completely dry.
It's an unnatural level of scavenging.
While John, the charlatan, is investigating, he touches one of the human bones.
Because he is basically a walking antenna for the dead now.
The magic of the world responds to his touch.
He gets a sudden, violent vision of the attack.
He feels an inhuman strength swatting his face.
And when he snaps out of the vision, panting and terrified, he actually has a red welt in the shape of a massive human hand on his own physical face.
This is a perfect example of how the veil between the physical and the spiritual has completely dissolved in this new world.
A psychic impression of a past event, a memory of violence trapped in a bone, is powerful enough to cause physical trauma in the present.
The magic is literally bleeding through time and memory.
It means that violence leaves a permanent, dangerous echo.
You aren't just fighting monsters. You are fighting the residual memory of everything terrible that has happened in that space.
While the humans are trying to piece together this horrific, metaphysical puzzle,
And nursing their psychic wounds.
Reggie is doing what Reggie does best.
His legendary nose catches a scent. And let me just praise Reggie's nose for a second.
He's on it.
The humans are lost. freezing and confused. The
Mhm.
dog is like, hey guys, the bad thing went this way.
He starts growling, pointing toward the tree line.
He finds misshapen paw prints, described as 20 inches across, leading away from the wagon wreckage.
The party makes the tactical decision to follow these massive tracks.
Knowing they can't leave a threat like that at their backs.
This leads them out of the tree line and onto the expanse of a massive frozen lake.
The wind is whipping the snow across the ice, reducing visibility.
And this is where they encounter their first major physical threat in the Deep Dive's narrative.
Oh, and what a threat it is.
Charging across the cracking ice through the blizzard is a 1,200-pound mutated grizzly bear.
But this isn't a normal bear you'd find in a nature documentary.
The Shardocyte mutation has completely ravaged its biology.
It's covered in sharp bone spurs jetting out of its skin like armor.
It has these sickening, jiggling, water balloon-like sores all over its body.
And its ribs are completely exposed, glowing with a faint green light.
It's a walking nightmare of coagulated blood and madness.
The combat breakdown in the source transcripts is a fascinating look at how these three distinct magic systems operate in tandem.
But more importantly, it highlights the sheer terror of fighting in this environment.
You have the raw physical power of the mutated bear charging across unstable ice.
Which adds a severe environmental hazard to the encounter.
Every step the creature takes threatens to plunge them all into the freezing depths.
Right, you can hear the ice groaning and snapping under its weight.
The battle is incredibly intense.
And it's not played like a game. It's a desperate struggle for survival.
John, our charlatan, uses his entourage of ghosts offensively for the first time.
Instead of just being haunted by them, he channels them.
He assails the bear's mind with the collective grief and terror of the spirits attached to him.
He literally funnels the psychic weight of hundreds of ghosts into the bear's brain.
The sheer mental anguish causes the bear to roar in agony and spit this black, tar-like sickness everywhere.
Meanwhile, Josiah, the cadet, uses his warlock pack to manipulate the elemental forces around them.
He infuses Katya's revolver with arcane fire.
They're combining their adaptations, leaning into the synergy of their unique traumas.
Katya fires a radiant blood magic shot that completely rips away the bear's lower jaw,
Binding the creature's front legs in its own magically coagulated blood.
It's a brutal, visceral fight.
That highlights how lethal this new world is, and how violently the magic manifests in combat.
But the ice is failing.
The massive weight of the bear, combined with the magical explosions and the heat from Josiah's fire, is shattering the frozen lake beneath them.
Great fissures are opening up. Katya slips and is in immediate danger of falling through the ice into the freezing water.
Which would be instant death.
Josiah reacts instantly. He taps into the volatile pact magic of his blood book,
He ruptures the air pressure around them.
creating a localized concussive sonic vacuum, what the lore formally designates as a thunderstep,
It's an incredibly violent manipulation of atmosphere.
that forcefully and violently propels him and Katya through space, depositing them safely on solid ice closer to the shore.
It's a desperate split-second tactical maneuver born of pure necessity.
But magic in this setting, especially when fueled by panic and adrenaline, always has consequences.
It is never a clean clinical process. There is always a cost.
There's always a cost.
Yeah.
And this is the moment in the transcripts that genuinely breaks my heart.
It's tough to read.
Josiah forcefully displaces himself and Katya to safety, but the concussive force of that sonic vacuum
The sheer displaced kinetic energy of the magic.
ripples outward. And caught right in the blast radius is Reginald.
Reggie, who is just trying to help,
He was right there in the thick of it, trying to bite at the monster's heels to protect Katya.
completely unaware of the arcane physics about to detonate next to him.
His small body is crushed by the sheer arcane pressure of the spell.
The transcripts describe the sickening crack.
He goes skidding limply across the ice, leaving a streak of red.
The dog is dead.
It is a devastating narrative beat.
In a world where cosmic horrors, ascendant entities, and mutated beasts are the norm, the collateral damage of a simple survival tactic claims the most innocent member of the party.
It underscores the profound volatility of their reality.
The magic doesn't discriminate between friend or foe. It is raw, untamed energy.
Katya is disoriented from the teleportation. She hasn't realized what happened yet.
But John sees it.
John sees Reggie's lifeless body on the ice.
And this fraudulent, cynical stam artist,
A guy who made a living preying on people's grief over death absolutely refuses to accept this particular death.
he runs over, sliding on the ice, scooping up Reggie's broken body.
And because John sees spirits permanently now, he can literally see Reginald's soul.
He sees the glowing essence of the dog wandering around the ice.
Looking confused, sniffing at the other human ghosts that constantly follow John.
John uses a mixture of his newfound magical attunement and a volatile, unfiltered channeling of raw cosmic probability
A desperate gamble.
to reach out into the ethereal plane.
He grabs Reggie's spirit with his bare metaphysical hands,
And then he shoves it violently back into the dog's physical body.
and miraculously it works.
The physical wounds mend just enough to sustain life.
The heart stutters back into a rhythm, and Reginald breathes again.
But this resurrection is deeply flawed.
The sources are very specific about the aftermath of this event.
And it introduces a terrifying implication about the nature of life and death post-Meteor.
Yet my boy Reggie comes back, but he comes back changed.
He is no longer just a happy dog.
He possesses this deep, almost estranged human intelligence now.
The transcripts note that he looks at Katya with this profound, jarring sadness.
He understands things a dog shouldn't understand.
He even tries to mimic human mouth movements, parting his jaws in awkward ways.
As if he's desperately trying to speak to them, but lacks the physical vocal cords to form the words.
It's incredibly eerie, heartbreaking, and deeply unsettling to read.
It's a profound example of the post-Meteor metaphysical mechanics.
John's magic didn't just heal the dog's cellular structure, it tethered a soul back to the material plane where it no longer naturally belongs.
Reggie's spirit has essentially been forcefully anchored to his body against the natural current of the universe.
He is completely aware of his own unnatural state.
The depression and the startling intelligence he exhibits are symptoms of a spirit trapped on the wrong side of the veil.
It is a fascinating, albeit tragic, application of raw willpower overriding natural law.
He is experiencing the existential dread of a ghost, trapped inside the sensory limitations of a canine body.
It makes you look at him completely differently for the rest of the journey.
He's no longer just a pet looking for a warm fire. He's a soul enduring an unnatural purgatory.
Staying purely out of an incomprehensible love for Katya.
But the group doesn't have time to fully process this existential crisis.
Because the elements are still trying to kill them.
They are freezing, their adrenaline is crashing, and they are starving.
Josiah manages to finish off the mutated bear with a final, desperate strike.
And as they examine the carcass, deep inside its chest cavity, they find the source of its corruption.
A glowing, jagged green shardicite crystal.
This crystal introduces a critical mechanic of the setting that dictates everything that follows.
John, recalling his experiences with the spirits in his parlor and the way his own magic responds to his thoughts, understands that the shardicite reacts to conscious intent.
As he explains it to the group, belief makes it real.
The stone is a conduit for their collective willpower.
They drag themselves off the ice and set up a little makeshift shelter in the tree line to get out of the biting wind.
They are sitting in a circle holding this glowing green rock.
And they're collectively starving. Their stomachs are cramping. They haven't had a real meal in weeks.
So they focus.
They pool all their mental energy, all their desperate craving, and imagine a hot, perfect meal.
The crystal reacts.
It vibrates, glows brightly, and crumbles into green dust.
And right in front of them, out of thin air, it manifests a massive, succulent feast.
We are talking slow-roasted beef with perfect char,
Caramelized onions, fresh, warm buns.
melting butter, and cold ale.
It is a literal miracle in the middle of a frozen wasteland.
They consume it ravenously, their bellies finally full after days of near starvation.
The psychological relief is immense.
The storm clears, the shelter holds, and they sleep deeply for the first time in memory.
But it is the next morning that reveals the true, insidious nature of the shardicite magic.
Here's where it gets really interesting, and where the horror shifts from physical to psychological.
The party wakes up.
Their bodies are physically nourished. They have caloric energy. They aren't going to starve to death today.
But despite having full bellies, an overwhelming, unnatural craving washes over them the moment they open their eyes.
Katya, Josiah, and yes, even Reginald are suddenly overcome by this beastly manic compulsion.
It dropped to the ground.
They are licking the empty plates clean, exactly like the bones they found at the wagon.
They are picking microscopic crumbs out of the dirt and eating them.
They are frantically scraping the absolute last remnants of grease off their clothes.
They are acting like starving rabid animals, completely devoid of reason.
The transcripts note a crucial detail. John is spared this craving.
This is likely due to the protective nature of his spirit entourage, acting as a buffer against the psychic influence.
Or his specific magical attunement as a medium.
He watches in absolute horror as his companions, his allies, lose their humanity in an instant.
Behaving like feral scavengers, driven by a hunger that defies logic.
Josiah is the first to snap out of it, purely through military discipline and willpower.
He looks at his shaking hands, looks at Katya, who is still searching the dirt, and has this horrifying realization that hits him like a freight train.
He remembers the wagon they found the day before.
The bones picked mirror clean.
The cans licked completely dry, cutting the tongues of whoever licked them.
He grabs Katya, pulling her up, and says to the group, this is what happened to them. The stone provides food, but it breeds a hunger that cannot be satisfied.
What's fascinating here is how this connects to the broader lore of the Apocalyptica Arcanum setting.
The Wendigo lore.
The expert documents provided in our sources detail the exact nature of the Wendigo.
In this world, the Wendigo isn't just a singular, hairy monster roaming the woods waiting to jump out at you.
It is an environmental sickness.
It is a psychological contagion.
The lore specifically states that the Wendigo arises when prolonged deprivation, extreme isolation, and cannibalism intersect with Shardicite influence.
So it's not a virus you catch from a bite, like a zombie movie.
You can't quarantine it.
It's a metaphysical disease born from circumstance.
It's actually worse than a virus. A virus needs a physical vector.
This is a metaphysical contagion.
You catch it simply by being desperate enough in the wrong location.
The magic of the meteor acts as an amplifier for human desperation.
Think about the people in that wagon. They were stranded in the blizzard. They were starving.
They found a Shardicite crystal and used it to manifest food, exactly like our trio did.
But the magic of the crystal was tainted by the surrounding aura of their profound starvation and desperation.
It fed their physical bodies, but it infected their souls with an insatiable, endless, magical hunger.
That hunger eventually drove them to eat their own horses when the manifested food was gone.
And then, inevitably, each other.
The profound wickedness of men eating other men, amplified by the green magic of the meteor, literally births the Wendigo.
It creates a localized tear in reality that spawns the monster.
Katya, Josiah, and Reggie just got their first taste of that exact same curse.
They are at the top of the slippery slope.
It is such a brilliant, terrifying concept.
The monster is just a symptom of the environment's rot.
Realizing they are on the very edge of succumbing to this cannibalistic madness, the group decides they cannot stay put.
They need to find the source of this corruption in the region and destroy it before they turn on each other.
They step out of their shelter, and on the horizon, against the pale winter sky, they see a thick, unnatural trail of dark, black smoke rising from a settlement about a mile away.
They know instinctively that they are heading into the heart of the anomaly.
The auroras in the sky above the smoke are pulsing with a sickly green light.
A visual indicator of heavy Shardicite concentration bending the atmosphere.
The environment is incredibly hostile.
The snow on the plains is so bright it threatens to blind them. So Katya uses charred wood from their fire, smearing it thickly under their eyes to prevent snow blindness.
They look like absolute apocalypse warriors.
Marked with ash, marching toward the smoke.
As they march, the tension is palpable.
Suddenly Reginald stops. He goes completely rigid.
His tail juts straight up and he points.
Once again, Reggie's senses, even in his compromised metaphysical state, save them from a deadly ambush.
Through the driving snow, a figure charges them with terrifying speed.
But this isn't an animal.
The transcripts describe a humanoid woman. She is emaciated to the point of impossibility.
Her skin sunken, pallid, and stretched tight over her bones.
Her eyes are entirely devoid of white, just pools of inky blackness.
And she has sharpened, elongated fangs.
She attacks with a desperate, unnatural strength that belies her fragile frame.
This is what the lore calls a lesser Wendigo.
This is someone who has fallen entirely to the hunger they just barely escaped.
The fight is brief, but incredibly violent and sad.
Katya uses her radiant blood magic to conjure tendrils of coagulated blood right out of the snow,
wrapping them around the woman's legs and binding her to the ground.
The horrifying part, the part that really emphasizes the curse.
The woman immediately just starts chewing frantically on the magical blood bindings.
She is trying to eat the magic holding her, heedless of the damage it's doing to her own mouth.
It perfectly illustrates the mindless, all-consuming nature of the curse.
There is no humanity left, no self-preservation, only consumption.
John steps in to end it. He focuses his magical attunement and assails her mind with a spell the documents call vicious mockery.
But it's not just insults. He funnels so much psychic filth, trauma, and the horrific whispers of his ghosts directly into her brain.
That even the spirits hanging around him start cackling in delight.
The mental overload stuns her.
Finally, Katya steps forward, clearly disturbed by what this woman has become, and delivers a brutal, merciful killing blow.
Splitting the creature's spine with a heavy miner's pick, they scavenged.
What happens next is crucial for their tactical understanding of the threat they face.
They perform a makeshift autopsy on the body in the snow.
They cut open the emaciated woman's stomach. Inside, they find no actual food.
They find chunks of tree bark, smooth river stones, and human teeth.
She had been desperately swallowing absolutely anything she could find to abate the gnawing magical hunger in her gut.
And deep inside the base of her skull, when they examine her head, Katya digs out another glowing emerald stone.
A piece of shardicite crystal embedded directly into her brainstem.
This confirms the physiological mechanics of the curse.
The Wendigo condition isn't just a psychological break.
It is a physical mutation driven by the crystal embedding itself within the host.
It likely forms spontaneously from the dense concentration of the curse over time, coalescing inside the victim.
This woman was in an intermediate stage of the Wendigo infection.
A human totally consumed by magical hunger, literally turning into a monster from the inside out as the stone rewrites her anatomy.
Armed with this horrific clinical knowledge, they push forward into the ruined town where the smoke is originating.
It's completely decimated.
It's a ghost town in the worst sense.
Homes are burned to the foundations, doors are smashed inward, and there are drag marks everywhere.
And emerging from the ruins, they meet two survivors who haven't fallen to the hunger yet, barricaded in a root cellar.
An old indigenous man and his son, a young man named Ishkode.
Ishkode is a fascinating figure in the lore.
He is a prime example of someone wielding the volatile elemental magic of the New World, but struggling to control it.
He is heavily mutated by his exposure to the meteor's fallout.
He is wrapped in layers of heavy winter clothing and constantly shivering uncontrollably.
Despite the fact that his bare hands crackle with raw, arcane fire.
He is burning from the inside, barely containing the elemental magic he has absorbed.
It's a fragile, dangerous existence.
The old man gives them the terrifying truth about what happened here.
The entire town succumbed to the sickness after a harsh blizzard cut them off from supplies.
The hunger drove everyone mad. Neighbors turned on neighbors.
The old man warns them that the Wendigo isn't just hunting them physically, it's calling to them on a psychic frequency.
It is actively trying to spread its curse by forcing humans to consume human flesh.
Which generates more shardicite, which expands its territory.
The old man makes it explicitly clear the Wendigo is drawn to that specific wickedness.
If our trio keeps relying on the greenstones to manifest food, they will inevitably fall to the curse.
Grow stones in their own skulls and join the horde.
The group realizes they cannot run from this.
They have to face the root of the manifestation, the apex predator of this localized anomaly, and sever the psychic anchor.
They rest for the night in a magical bubble of near silence that John conjures.
A localized abjuration field that temporarily blocks the psychic frequency of the Wendigo, holding the gnawing hunger at bay so they can sleep.
But even within the bubble, the magic of this world is restless.
During the night, Josiah experiences a chilling visitation in his dreams.
The entity from his blood book, his patron, whispers to him across the void,
warning of a coming battle against a power nearly equal to its own.
Two mummified black hands reach from the shadows of his dream,
grasping Josiah's heart and surging a cold, calculating energy into him before vanishing.
It's a stark reminder that the entities of this world are maneuvering, using humans as their pawns in a much larger cosmic game.
The next morning, the tiny hut spell vanishes as the sun rises, and the group is instantly hit with that ravenous, gripping hunger again.
The physical pain is immense.
But this time, they are ready for it. They have a plan.
They know the Wendigo feeds on the desire for food, on the desperation of starvation.
It wants them to want food.
So they decide to completely flip the script on the monster.
It is a brilliant, paradigm-shifting shift in tactics.
They possess the emerald stone they pulled from the lesser Wendigo skull.
They understand the core mechanic belief makes it real.
Instead of collectively imagining a meal to soothe their agonizing hunger, which is what the curse wants them to do,
they forcefully, violently reject the craving.
They focus their collective willpower not on survival, but on absolute destruction.
They imagine weapons.
They channel every ounce of their desperation, their anger at the cold, their grief over Reggie's state, into arming themselves for war.
The crystal vibrates violently in their hands, glows with immense blinding heat, and shatters into dust.
In its place, it leaves behind an arsenal uniquely suited to each of their combat styles and magical attunements.
John receives a beautifully crafted arcane rapier that hums with spiritual energy.
Josiah is gifted a deadly magical saber perfectly balanced for his elongated limbs.
And Katya, in a stroke of absolute apocalypse ingenuity that perfectly fits her survivalist nature, manifests a boomerang rigged with a volatile vial of highly explosive nitroglycerin.
I cannot praise this narrative beat enough.
It's so good.
It represents the psychological shift from being reactive victims of the wasteland to becoming proactive combatants against the corruption.
They are no longer hiding from the rules of Shardicite manifestation. They are weaponizing the curse's own mechanics against it.
It is a profound moment of agency in a world that tries to strip all agency away.
Fully armed and running on pure adrenaline and arcane energy, they march out of the town, guided by Ishcode.
And approach the epicenter of the anomaly.
They come to the edge of a massive blasted crater in the earth.
The ground is littered with hundreds of glowing green Shardicite crystals pulsing like a heartbeat.
The air is thick with geothermal steam and falling ash.
And rising from the center of this crater, sensing their defiance, is the Wendigo.
The physical description of the primary manifestation in the lore documents is awe-inspiring and terrifying.
It is a colossal beast, easily 3 stories tall.
It is an amalgam of corpse-like features, the personification of starvation, and predatory evolution.
It towers over them, its head adorned with broken, jagged, petrified antlers.
And its eyes are described as cold, glowing emeralds that seem to pierce directly into their souls.
Projecting a wave of pure, freezing despair.
It is the literal embodiment of endless freezing starvation.
The battle that erupts in the crater is an absolute symphony of violence, tactical maneuvering, and raw magic.
John immediately takes a tactical position on the high ground.
He pulls out this bizarre, magical turtle shell fiddle he acquired.
He plays a frantic, dissonant tune and an intricate, glowing mandala. An arcane field, the lore calls, a circle of power erupts around him,
projecting a defensive aura that bolsters their minds against the Wendigo's psychic attacks.
His new rapier ignites with brilliant arcane fire.
And he slashes the air from a distance, sending a massive crescent arc of burning energy directly into the beast's chest, singeing its matted fur.
Katya doesn't hesitate for a second.
She uses her athletic prowess to close the distance, winding up and hurling her MacGyvered nitroglycerin boomerang.
It arcs beautifully through the steam-filled air and smashes into a dead, petrified tree right beside the Wendigo's colossal head.
The resulting explosion is deafening.
It pelts the creature's face with heavy wooden shrapnel and concussive thunder force, staggering the massive beast and blinding it in one eye.
But the Wendigo is a god-level threat in this region.
It's a force of nature.
It shakes off the explosion and retaliates by exhaling a massive cone of vile, icy mucus that instantly freezes anything it touches solid.
It hits the horse that Ishcode and the old man brought, freezing the animal instantly into a block of red ice and bucking Ishcode violently to the ground.
And Josiah gets hit with a concentrated psychic wave of the Wendigo's aura.
The magical hunger spikes so violently in his brain, overriding his military discipline, that he drops his magical saber.
He falls to his knees in the ash and starts ravenously, desperately shoveling raw, frozen tree bark and dirt into his mouth.
His mind completely breaking under the weight of the curse.
It is a terrifying tactical moment because it proves that the Wendigo doesn't just attack physically, it attacks the mind.
It weaponizes their own physiological needs and basic human vulnerabilities against them, turning their bodies into their own worst enemies in the middle of a fight.
But Josiah is a hardened soldier.
Yeah, and he has a patron looking over his shoulder.
He bites down hard on the bark, cutting his gums.
Lets out a guttural scream of pure rage.
Snaps himself back into reality through sheer spite and charges.
He doesn't even pick up his sword.
He swings his heavy military rifle like a club, channeling his warlock pact power into the wood and steel.
And absolute crushes the butt of the rifle into the Wendigo's kneecap, shattering a massive piece of its external bone armor with a sound like a cannon shot.
The creature is heavily damaged, its mobility compromised, but the pain only makes it furious.
It prepares to unleash a devastating counterattack that would likely wipe out the party.
And this is where the narrative zeroes back in on the emotional core of this entire deep dive.
This is Reggie's moment.
I knew we were coming back to him.
I need you to picture this. Reginald sees his humans getting battered.
He sees Josiah bleeding,
He sees Katya struggling to find cover.
despite being just a dog.
A dog that has already died once on the ice.
A dog that possesses human intelligence and knows exactly how terrifying this monster is.
A dog that knows he doesn't even belong in this physical world anymore.
Reggie doesn't run away.
He doesn't hide. He runs straight at the colossal eldritch god of starvation.
Tactically, he acts as the perfect decoy.
He uses his small size and incredible agility to weave rapidly around the beast's massive legs,
Nipping at its heels, snarling aggressively.
drawing its monstrous attention away from Katya and Josiah, who are exposed and vulnerable in the open crater.
He is so incredibly brave.
He is buying them the seconds they need.
But the Wendigo is just too fast, too massive, and too powerful.
In a moment of sheer horror that made me audibly gasp when reading the transcripts, the Wendigo backhands its massive, razor-clawed hand.
It swats Reginald.
The impact is brutal.
It sends Reggie's small body flying through the air, completely across the massive crater.
He hits the jagged crystal ground on the far side and doesn't move.
Josiah reacts with incredible trained speed.
Seeing the dog fall, he rips a page out of his magical hymnal.
He attempts a desperate abjuration ritual, what the mechanics call a death ward.
Casting it from across the battlefield, projecting a thread of arcane energy, hoping to preserve a single spark of life in the animal's broken body before the soul detaches again.
But Katya
doesn't know about the spell.
doesn't know about the mechanics.
Katya just sees her best friend, the dog that tried to save her from the riders in Atlanta, the dog that endured resurrection just to stay with her, the only pure thing left in her entire ruined world, violently swatted away and broken by this monster.
And she snaps.
She is consumed by absolute, blinding, world-ending rage.
She drops her weapons,
She sprints directly into the center of the crater, ignoring the monster.
running right into the highest concentration of the glowing green crystals where the magic is thickest.
She drops to her knees and plunges her bare hands deep into the jagged emerald shards, cutting her skin, letting her blood mix with the shardicite.
She is attempting a raw, completely uncontrolled manipulation of the shardicite field.
She is bypassing the need for a focus.
She is pouring every ounce of her grief, her profound anger, and the immense power of her radiant blood magic directly into the environmental source of the anomaly.
It's incredibly dangerous. She is acting as a living detonator.
She looks up at the Wendigo looming over her, her hands glowing with volatile, terrifying power.
And she screams one word with everything she has: burn.
John, seeing what she's doing from the high ground, immediately understands.
He abandons his defensive playing and adds his own immense psychic willpower to hers.
He envisions the fire.
He feeds her rage with the collective anger of 100 ghosts.
The ground beneath them begins to vibrate violently, a localized earthquake.
The crystals superheat, turning from green to blinding white.
Massive gouts of pure, incandescent white flame erupt from every single crystal in the crater simultaneously.
The Wendigo, caught in the epicenter, is completely engulfed in a massive pillar of arcane fire that reaches into the sky.
The explosion is absolute.
It is a localized, magical detonation of staggering proportions that entirely incinerates the physical manifestation of the Wendigo.
Reducing its corrupted mass to ash in seconds.
The flash temporarily blinds everyone in the valley.
And as the physical world is erased in white light, the immense release of shardicite energy triggers a moment of profound spiritual clarity for each of the survivors caught in the blast radius.
Time seems to stop completely, and they are pulled out of their bodies into separate, deeply personal, metaphysical visions.
So what does this all mean?
As the physical world goes quiet, the spiritual world opens up wide. Let's look at what they experience.
John finds himself standing in the ruined town they just left.
But it's not destroyed.
It's peaceful. The sun is shining.
He sees dozens of spirits standing around him, the souls of the townspeople who had been tortured, starved, and consumed by the Wendigo curse.
They are no longer agonizing.
They look at him, breathe a collective sigh of profound relief, and slowly fade away into the light.
He hasn't just killed a monster. He has finally truly freed them from their endless cyclical torment.
Josiah's vision is much more abstract, fitting his connection to the occult.
He stands in a vast, empty, starless void.
His patron, the inscrutable entity from the Blood Book, appears before him in the dark.
The entity offers Josiah a physical manifestation of his pact, a blade of pure, singing energy.
In this spiritual realm, Josiah sees the weakened, fractured essence of the Wendigo.
The conceptual core of the curse, trying to flee.
He takes the blade and delivers a single, shattering slash permanently destroying the entity's core on the astral plane.
He fulfills his pack's promise in the most literal sense. He is the edge that guts the shadow.
He ensures the curse cannot simply reform in a week.
Both of those are epic.
But it is Katya's vision that is the true emotional climax of this entire journey, and the reason I wanted to do this episode.
Katya doesn't see ghosts, and she doesn't see cryptic gods.
She finds herself standing in an idyllic, endless field of golden grass that sways in a gentle breeze.
The sky above her is a brilliant, welcoming, completely uncorrupted blue.
The sun is warm and gentle on her face.
There is no ash, no cold, no hunger.
It is perfect, absolute peace.
It is the starkest possible contrast to the ash-choked, freezing, horrific reality they have been surviving in for weeks.
It represents an untainted spiritual plane.
She looks down into the golden grass, and there is Reginald.
But he's not the sad, strangely intelligent, broken dog from the frozen lake.
He doesn't have the heavy burden of a trapped soul in his eyes.
He is young, his coat is shiny, he is healthy.
He is acting exactly like a puppy again, bouncing happily in the golden grass, his brass tag jingling.
He looks up at her, and in that moment, without any words, they share an unspoken, complete understanding that transcends human language.
And as she looks into his happy eyes, Katya realizes the heartbreaking truth.
The realization she comes to is profound.
And it recontextualizes the entire journey since the lake.
Reggie did not survive the concussive shockwave on the frozen ice.
He died there. His body failed.
The only thing that brought him back, the only thing keeping his soul forcefully tethered to a broken, aching body in a freezing, starving hellscape, was John's wild magic and Reggie's pure, unyielding, absolute love for Katya.
He stayed because she was in danger.
He stayed because she needed him to guide her through the dark.
He forced himself to endure the physical pain, the freezing cold, the terrifying monsters.
And the deeply unnatural, existential state of being a ghost trapped in his own corpse.
Just to protect her.
And now the apex predator is dead.
The curse is broken.
Katya has John and Josiah. They're a capable pack now.
She is safe.
He doesn't have to fight the horrors of the apocalypse anymore.
He doesn't have to suffer the cold anymore.
His job is done. He can finally let go.
In the vision, Reggie steps forward and gently places his paw on Katya's hand.
He leaves a glowing, emerald green paw print on her skin, transferring a piece of his essence to her.
He gives her one last look of pure, uncomplicated love.
And then he turns and runs off, bounding into the golden field, chasing something she can't see.
Finally finding his eternal, well-deserved peace in the afterlife.
The vision fades. The brilliant blue sky dissolves. The blinding white light recedes.
The survivors awake, coughing in the ash and the snow of the real world.
The crater is a smoking, silent ruin.
The massive Wendigo is completely gone, reduced to nothing but scattered black ash.
Ishkode and the horse, tragically, did not survive the blast's shockwave.
And Reggie's body is gone.
He didn't leave a corpse behind this time. He vanished entirely with the magic, returning to the ether.
But the magic left a mark. Literally.
John, Josiah, and Katya pull themselves up from the ash, leaning on each other.
They are singed, bruised, bleeding, and utterly exhausted.
They look down at their hands.
On the back of each of their right hands is a permanent, faintly glowing green paw print.
The exact mark of the blue healer from Katya's vision.
Whenever they acknowledge each other, whenever they stand together, the print flashes with a warm, comforting green light.
It is a permanent magical ward, an abjuration forged not from a spell book, but from emotion.
Forever binding the three of them together as a pack.
They can sense each other's presence. They will never be truly isolated again.
It is the most beautiful, devastating ending to a horror story I have ever read.
A cynical scam artist, a cursed, mutated soldier, and a traumatized survivor, eternally bonded and protected by the love of a really good dog.
This raises an important question, and it is one that strikes at the very philosophical heart of the Apocalyptica Arcanum setting.
We have spent this entire deep dive analyzing how the raw, unstable magic of the Meteor acts as a dark mirror to the human soul.
We discussed how different regions spawn different horrors based on local trauma.
For example, the lore mentions that coastal regions in Scotland, reeling from the trauma of tsunamis and drowning, manifested the terrifying aquatic demon known as the Nukkalavi.
Here in the Dakota Territory, we saw how the desperation of starvation combined with shardicite birthed a literal monster in the Wendigo.
We saw how the trauma of a racist attack birthed violent blood magic.
We saw how the lies of a fake medium manifested real, tormenting ghosts.
The magic consistently takes humanity's darkest impulses, our deepest fears, our regional legends, and our worst suffering, and amplifies them into physical nightmares that hunt us.
It takes everything bad about us and turns it into our actual physical reality.
It's a universe designed to punish you for being afraid.
Exactly the point the lore is making. So what does it mean that the most permanent, unbreakable, and beautiful magic left on these three hardened, cynical survivors was not a curse?
It was not a hex or a crippling mutation or a demon spawned from the lake.
It was a ward of protection and unity, born entirely from the simple, selfless, uncomplicated love of a dog.
In a world where human belief in terror creates monsters like the Knuckly or the Wendigo, Reggie's loyalty created a literal miracle of protective magic.
It's the ultimate proof that even in the absolute darkest timeline, when the world has literally broken apart, light still exists.
If the magic is a mirror, then Reggie proved that the mirror can reflect pure good too.
It can reflect love just as powerfully as it reflects starvation.
When the chips were down, it wasn't the Warlock Pact or the psychic damage that saved them in the end. It was the dog.
It is a profound philosophical takeaway from an otherwise bleak and horrific setting.
In the age of collapse, when the sky falls, the earth shatters, and the dead walk, perhaps the truest, most powerful magic isn't the kind that burns cities to ash or rips souls from the afterlife.
Perhaps the truest magic is the kind that simply chooses to stay by your side when the world ends.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Reginald the Blue Healer, the undisputed best boy in the apocalypse.
The absolute best.
I told you this was a tribute to him, and I hope you see why now. We will never forget you, Reggie.
Thank you for joining us on this incredibly emotional deep dive into the Dakota territory.
We've explored the origins of the Wendigo curse, the deeply psychological mechanics of Shardicite manifestation, and the unbreakable bond of a pack forged in fire.
We hope this analysis has given you a deeper understanding of the complex, trauma-driven lore of Apocalyptica Arcanum and how the setting masterfully blends environmental horror with deeply personal, character-driven narratives.
But I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
We've established that the Meteor's magic amplifies whatever human emotion is present. It built the Wendigo out of starvation and fear.
Reggie proved that it can also crystallize love into a permanent protective ward.
It makes you wonder, if a single dog's loyalty can leave a permanent, glowing ward of protection on three people, what happens if an entire surviving community learns to harness positive manifestation?
If humanity stops being afraid and starts projecting hope into the Shardicite, could they eventually reverse the Meteor's terraforming entirely?
Could they heal the world using the very magic that broke it?
That is a fascinating thought to leave on. Could the apocalypse be reversed by just being better to each other?
Keep exploring that idea. Keep questioning the lore.
And please, go give your own pets an extra scratch behind the ears tonight. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe out there in the wasteland.